Hello all, very good morning. So in today's topic, we'll discuss the secondary methods of data collection which is involved in demography. So yesterday we have seen regarding the primary methods of data collection, and in today's topic I'll continue with the methods of data collection, in which we are going to discuss the secondary methods of data collection. So coming to these secondary methods, firstly we'll discuss what is this secondary data. In this secondary data we have survey. So survey means it is one of the commonest thing which is used in the diagnosing of community problems. So whenever they want to obtain a feedback, or whenever they want to know the impact of a health program, or whenever they want to know the impact of any kind of disease or any problem to solve a particular thing, the method that they are using in conveniently was survey. So survey, it is involving the interviews. So here the data collector is going home to home, and they are getting the data. So in this survey we have open-end questions, we have closed-end questions, and the data collector who is collecting the data, he can make his own questions based on the topic that he is collecting the data. So in such a ways we are gathering the data from the respondents. We can visit them, or you can gather them at one place, and you can take the data. So here if you see, surveys involves interviews with large number of respondents using a pre-designed questionnaire. As I am saying, we can use pre-designed questionnaire, or you can give them the open-end questions also, so that they can express their views, they can express themselves. So here national survey, it refers to the survey conducted at central level to collect the information related to population. So based on a particular topic, suppose you want to know the number of COVID cases in a particular area. So if you want to know the number of COVID cases, or example, you want to know the number of diabetes cases in a particular area, then you can go for simply objecting this survey. So if you're going and surveying there, you will get the data from the respondents. So you can gather how many number of cases are available, and what is their stage, and what kind of treatment they are taking, whether they are recognized or not. So all these things can be known by this survey. So when it is done at central level, so it is called as national survey. So here if you see survey methods, we have person administrated surveys, we have computer assisted surveys, we have self administered surveys, and we have mixed mode surveys. So firstly we'll see the advantages. So there will be standardization, there will be ease of administration, and ability to tap is unseen. So all these things can be noted here. So what are the advantages? You can maintain the standards there, and while you are administering it, so since these are pre-designed questions, or you are just focusing on a particular topic, you can gather the data in an approximate manner, in a proper manner, with ease. And nextly, there will be ability to tap, that will be unseen. And we have, if you see the types as we are seeing here, we have person administered, we have computer assisted, we have self-administered, and we have mixed mode surveys. So by this statements itself, you can say person administered means the interviewer reads the question either face to face or over the telephone, and the respondent and records her or his answers. So how it will be like, person means we are going individually, so we are talking to them face to face, either we are going with them with a phone call. So whenever you are going with a phone call, or whenever we are talking with them face to face, we can record the answers, and we can get the answers that were questioned to him. Nextly, we'll see what is this computer administered surveys. So in this computer administered surveys, mainly we are using the technology. So for example, all of you are aware of using this YouTubes and going to this Instagrams and TikTok, all these things. So if you see in the YouTube, or if you see in the Facebook, suddenly there will be one pop-up screen on your mobile phones or your laptop, or whatever mobile or whatever instrument that you are using. So based on that, you will have some questions, whether do you like this video, so up to which amount you like this video. So like that they will give you 5-star rating. So this is one type of a survey, and suddenly you will get some pop-up screens like stating that you will get some pop-up screens, and they will give you which video is most viewed by you, like that they will give, and they will give 4 options here. So this was a pre-designed question here, and this is having the closed and one word answer question. So just you can say I have watched this ad, I have watched this ad, like that you can tick and you can skip the survey, or sometimes you can even skip the survey also. So in such a way computer administered surveys will takes place. So mainly if you see, the government also plays a crucial role here. So government whenever they are finding, so nowadays they are using the technology here very well. So you will have some messages coming to your phone, or somebody will call you, or computer assisted phone call will be there. So you have to, they will, if you are satisfied with the government tactics, if you are satisfied with the government rules, you can press 1 or you can press 2. In such a way they will ask you. So these are some of the computer administered questions. So this is the one type of survey. Nextly we will see what is the self administered. So here self administered means the respondents complete the survey on his or her own, means they are administering themselves. So self administered means the respondent itself is completing the survey here. Nextly mixed mode. So we might have computer assisted, we might have personal assisted administered survey, or we might have self administered survey. So this is the mixed mode. Using the any 2 or 3 types of the survey methods is called mixed mode. So this is regarding the surveys. Nextly we'll see what is regarding the census. So everybody know what is the census. So it is very popular method of collecting the information regarding the people. So in the census we'll have the data. What are the data means? All the vital recordings are included in the census method. For example, if you want to know what is the population rate, if you want to know what is the population rate, you have to categorize the population. Simply you cannot say that our Indian population is 136 billion people. So for general consideration we will have this number, but according to the numbers, according to the vital statistics, if you want to provide any kind of healthcare services which is related to the mother, or which is related to the child, or which is related to the geriatric, or which is related to the ill people, you need some particular data. So the data should be in an accurate manner, and you should grasp the data immediately when you see it. For example, you want to know what is the particular birth rate here. So in this 136 billion population, you want to know what is the birth rate that is occurring daily. So whether the population is maintaining its standard levels, what is the death rate. So as we have seen the demography cycle in previous classes, so whether it is in a stationary phase or a high stationary phase, whether it is in a declining phase, you have to check those things. So this is mainly followed through this census method only. So this can be achieved through this census method. So you want to know what is the birth rate, what is the death rate, what is the family size. So all these things will be provided by the census method. So for example, if anybody are aware, so whenever people come to take about the census, they will ask you how many members are living in your family, what is the size of your family. So they will ask you all these things, how many children are there, whether any people are suffering with any kind of diseases, whether they are prone to have any kind of long-term diseases. So all these things were questioned in the census method, so that they will have the vital statistics. So here census may be defined as, means what is the definition of census means the total process of collecting, compiling and publishing demographic, economic, social data pertaining at specific time or timer to all persons in a country or a delimited territory. So this is what the census means. What is this definition is saying means, so at a particular time or at a particular period in a country or in a particular definite delimited territory, you want to know how many number of population are living there. So that is the demographic data. So it collects all the demographic data, it compiles them, it publishes them. So they will ask you what is your economic status, what is your social data. So means economic status, whether you are living under below poverty line, or you are living above the poverty line, or you are in a middle class family or upper middle class family. So all these things were embedded in this census method. Now we'll see, as we have seen, we have another definition also. So here census of a population is the total process of collecting, compiling, evaluating, analyzing, publishing the demographic data, economic, social data pertaining at a specific time to all persons in a country in a well delimited part of the country. So if you see these both definitions, so the sentence may be different, but the meaning is exact here. So these are two definitions related to the census. Now we'll see what are all the futures of the census. So here census is like national stock taking process. So in which nation gets information about the migration of people, about their age, about their sex, about their occupation, and about the people in the country at a given point of time. So as I'm saying earlier, mainly we are getting this stock census, means what is the age of the people, what is the average of the average age of the people who are living in this country. So what is the average birth rate, what is the average death rate. So all these things are embedded in the census here. So census is almost carried out once in a decade in every country, because for every 10 years there will be lot of changes, there will be lot of group dynamics, there will be lot of population dynamics that are occurring there. So if you want to find out the exact data for every 10 years, for every decade, the census is being conducted and the data is being published there. Nextly, census is almost always organized and conducted by the government. Before collecting the data, willingness is taken from the respondents, that is very significant. So if you see census, it is mainly organized and it is conducted by the government. So because here the government plays a crucial role in ruling the people. So if it want to rule the people in an exact manner, if it want to know its problems, first of all it should know what is the population's tactics there, what is the population strength there, then only they can go for good ruling. So it gives us the first-hand information that need to be collected, and some preliminary steps are carried out before the census operation. Means before starting the census operation, they are following some kind of steps there. So census data is published after the data has been authenticated and verified and properly analyzed. So whenever the data is connected, so all the data is again authenticated and it is verified and it is properly analyzed, so that the data will be released to the people. And during the census operation, information is collected. So what we are collecting during the census, mainly we are collecting the data from the population. So in demography, census is one of the part, mainly while we are collecting the data, mainly we are doing the data here. Demography means what? Study of population in a systematic manner. So in this systematic manner, we have different types of data collection. In that we have discussed regarding the surveys and we have discussed regarding the census. So in census again we have personal context. So we'll see what is this personal context. So here census method, it is of two types. First one is de jure and second one is de facto. So here if you see in de facto, in de facto census, mainly the person is counted at a place where he is found. So no matter where he is residing, no matter where he is staying, so they will count him wherever he is found. But if you see in this de jure census, he is counted where his residence is. So here if you see people who are going for a migration, people who are going for work, they will migrate from one place to another, so in several ways. So in this de facto census, people will the person who is counting the census will count him wherever he is found. But coming to the de jure, he is counted only where he is residing. Nextly, information should be collected for every unit within a limited period of time. So whatever the data you are collecting, as I said, that for every 10 decade, means for every 10 years, for every 1 decade we are collecting the data. So the data which is collected, it should be specified to a time. Again, day by day the new births are occurring and new deaths are occurring and there will be population changes. Now we'll see what are the advantages of the census. So here the census is mainly useful for the administrative purpose. So whenever you are collecting the data, so we are collecting the population data of a particular place or a particular region or a particular country. So whenever the administrative process is going on, they have the vital numbers so that they can plan accordingly. So this data, the census, it can be put to use for studying and researching the economic and social problems on the one hand, and their planning on the other. So whenever you want to study, so based on the economic and social status, you can study it in a clear manner, and even with the numbers you have, you can plan for them. And it is also providing us the authentic trends in the population and what are all the growth changes in the age, what is the sex structure of the population, and what is the extent the mortality as well as fertility has been taking place in the community. So you can all see all these things, and these are some of the factors which we are continuing. So it is providing us base for various kinds of survey. So for example, you want to conduct a survey. So if you have the census number, if you know the total number of population who are living in a particular state or particular area or particular district or particular region, you can plan the survey accordingly and you can do the survey. And census makes computation at birth and death rate easy. So whenever you are comparing the birth rate and death rate. So if you have the census, you can do it very easily, and it is used for preparing the life tables and analyzing the development. So census, it helps us to know the changes which are coming in the national occupational literacy and level of living, what is the religion, what is the language that they are using. So all these things can be known by the census. So whenever you going and collecting the survey, you will take what is the mother language that they are using, what is the literacy rate, what is the developmental stage of this person. So you can get all this data. So it helps us to estimate the economic and future needs. So these are some of the advantages. Now we'll see what are the problems that were associated with this census collection. So here it is both time and patience consuming process. So means if you see here census, whenever you're collecting the census, you have to cover a large amount of area. So it need lot of time, and it is a patience consuming process, and it was a costly affair because you need so much personnel to do this. You must train the persons how to take the survey, and you must use lot of technology, and there will be need for training in collecting census, as I said, and there will be difficult to keep trained staff on the regular basis, and it requires lot of field work. So these are some of the problems, and if you see, there is no uniformity in basic terms, and many persons may not give the correct information because we are collecting the data from the people, and people who are not willing to say their personal status, people who are not willing to give their personal things, there you might get the defective data. I mean, whenever they might say you wrong thing about their social status, they might say you more or they might say you less rather than the original thing. So all these are some of the problems here, and there is no adequate arrangements for knowing the family size, and sometimes quantity of the work is seriously gets affected here, and there will be lack of cooperation from the population. So these are some of the difficulties. So as we are discussing, what is the de facto method means here. Under this system, the date is fixed for taking the census on the whole country. So here what is happening, usually in such kind of operations, it is conducted at night, because during the daytime the people are going to work everywhere, but during the night time they are staying at their homes. So if you see in our country India, during the 1971 census, this de facto method was not adopted because it was not invented at that stage. Next, coming to the merits of this here means this system is it is very quite simple, and it is very clear. And if you see the information which is collected, it is almost realistic and dependable, because we are collecting it in the night time, and the people who are working in different areas, they will stay in their homes during the night time. So it is very easy for us, and it is easy for international comparisons. So these are some of the merits with this de facto method. And if you see the demerits here, in this system, the floating population is not counted, such as the people who are ignore, and data collections becomes here inaccurate. So whenever they are collecting the data here, floating people means the people who are moving from one place to another. So these people, they are always migrating. So here we cannot get the accurate data because they are ignored, and the data collection becomes here inaccurate. We won't have the specific data. And here, whenever you are doing this method, it needs large number of well qualified and trained field workers. But these workers, unfortunately, they are not available, and the data which is collected by incomplete workers here, and the time is very short, and the efforts need to be put are like we have to keep only few questions there. We cannot give large number of data because within a time period you need to collect this data, and the system does not provide us the counter checks, and it is very difficult to approach because during the night some people may cooperate or some people may do not cooperate. So if you see here, comparing to the merits, we have more number of demerits. Nextly, we will see what is this de jure method. So under this system, every person in an area is personally counted, and the information obtained from his usually census work is completed within 2 to 3 weeks. Mainly in de jure method, we are collecting the data from the area. So whatever the data that you are obtaining, it should be completed within 2 to 3 weeks of period. So coming to the merits here, it has very big performer that is used, and it is able to complete the target in a prescribed time, and the figures are used to remove the religious imbalance, and figures can be rechecked and mainly by the supervising staff here. And this system it is that since the period given for the completion of work is quite sufficient, therefore the chances of inaccuracy which are due to the shortage of time are reduced to the minimum, and it is rechecked by the supervisory staff here. So what it is saying, mainly they are using the big performer and they are able to complete this method in a target, in a prescribed time, and the figures they are used, they will remove the religious imbalances, and these are mainly rechecked by the supervising staff. And this system, it has a proper time period. So since it has proper time period, there are less chances of inaccuracy, and there will be like due to shortage of time, there will be lot of problems that can occur. But in this method, because the time which is given is sufficient, the problems or the inaccuracy, it can be reduced to the minimum, and whatever the data collected, it can be rechecked by the supervisory staff. Coming to the demerits here, it is difficult to uniformly define the terms based on the residences and household, and the period of completion of work is rather too long, because compared to because it has long time of period when they are collecting the data, and it is applied only the permanent resident people. So wherever you are residing, so where is your permanent resident, there only they are applying it, and they are not pertaining it to the temporary residence areas. So in every country some legal provisions are made for this conduction of this census, and it is done primarily because it is found unsafe to leave everything optional. So these are some of the techniques which were used in the methods of data collection in secondary data collection. So with this, I would like to end this session here, and I will continue this topic in the next class. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe the channel. And if you have any queries, you can drop them in the comment box. Please follow the other class also, so you will have the complete data regarding the methods of data collection. Thank you. Thanks for watching.